Common sense buffs. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some dope content to react to. Man, we are back on the Saturday show. It has been a long time. We're going to let the algorithm do its thing. I'm going to do a little bit of intro. We got a good one for you today. Now, I know for all the subscribers, man, all the loyal followers and fans of this channel, I've been gone for a little bit, y'all. And, sometimes I don't like creating content for content's sake, even though I know that's part of the YouTube game. I'm here to talk football, guys. And if there ain't much football to talk about, well, what's the point in talking, right? It's just about filling dead air. Now, most of what has been happening in Colorado is the very exciting recruiting, high school recruiting that's happening, which we will jump into during this show, because what I'm gonna do is, since I've been gone for a long time, is kind of give you the news around Boulder, and then we are going to get into the real conversation, the title conversation of today, which is JuJu Lewis an elite quarterback prospect? So I hope all of you as well. All of you are well. As you come into the show, please hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't done it already. Now, even though I haven't been recording on this channel, I have been spending time with two outstanding Colorado content creators, none other than Rob the Man and Coach Dre. So if you've caught me on Rob the Man Media, hanging out with Rob and Coach Dre, I appreciate you joining me over there. But hey, man, if you guys know, you know, right? These Saturday debates are exciting, a whole lot of fun. This is your show, so please get in the comments. Let me know where you are tuning in from. We are going to get busy today. All right, that's enough of a preamble, guys. Let's get right into the show. Now, what's got me motivated to start streaming again is the team has returned for summer workouts, which I absolutely love. If you ever played football, man, it's particularly college football, it's great to be back on campus. Some players tend to stay on campus, particularly those who need to take treatment. But a lot of guys get a chance to go home, be with family, and hopefully when they're away from home, they're still locked in, focused, getting that work done. Because summer workouts usually reveal the guys who have been slacking and the guys who have been in the gym. So it's absolutely exciting to get these little sneak peeks from well off that the team is running, that they are getting back in shape. You know, I'm a big fan of Coach Swayze. I know he's going to get those boys right. And his motto really is about his responsibility to the coaches, right? What do the coaches want the players to be able to do? And as the strength and fitness coach, his task is to get them ready to execute and do those things, and especially keep them healthy, man. Football is so much about staying healthy, and summer workouts and working out in general, making sure that you're strengthening your body, increasing your flexibility, building your endurance, and all of those things matter. So the Buffs are in great hands with Coach Swayze. I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. All right, so that's one big update. The next big update here is I caught, and I don't know if you guys did or not, let me know in the comments if you did, the morning run with Big Dog Chico and Uncle Neely. If you're fans of that show, let me know in the comments. But I was watching the morning run, and this week they had a very special interview with none other than our offensive coordinator, Coach Brennan Marion. If you caught that interview, let me know in the comments. But there are a few key takeaways from that interview I want to share with you. Of course, I always encourage you to go and watch the interview for yourself, because maybe you take different things away from it. But these are the things that I took away from it. Number one, Coach Marion is really trying to drive in the mind of his players toughness. Toughness, right? You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have any heart, you're not going to go very far in the game of football. And the second thing that really stood out to me is, like, he's trying to make sure that they're tough, they're focused, they work hard and grind. But he said that at this stage in their career, he also wants them to take the time to enjoy themselves, right? To really take in their college experience. How many of you had a college collegiate athletic experience or any kind of college experience, right? You know how precious those years are, those 4 or 5, and in some cases, if you pursue graduate degrees, 6 years of your life is. But it's not always the case that college athletes get that experience, right? Because so much of their schedule is already dictated for them, especially those who have NFL aspirations. And this focus on really making sure that these players are enjoying their college experience is born out of his own regret. Now, if you guys don't know this, our coach, Brennan Marion, was a dog. Okay. I'm going to go over some statistics here, and then we can talk a little bit about his illustrious career. So in his time in college, I know he played some JUCO ball, but I'm going to focus on his time at Tulsa. He played wide receiver at Tulsa. And he set the NCAA career record for yards per catch, 28.7 yards per catch. So I think he still holds the record right now. That's absolutely incredible. That's damn near 30 yards per catch. And he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Now, you would think a guy like that, setting records, having 1,000-yard seasons, would be enjoying himself. But what he shared during that interview is that he was so locked into the NFL that he really didn't savor it. For example, I think he had like an All-American ring from his time in JUCO. He can't even find where that thing is, right? And so that's why he's trying to find this balance as a coach. Yeah, I want you guys to work hard. I want you guys to be hyper-focused. But I also want you guys to enjoy your achievements along the way. So I thought that was great perspective. That was introspection on the part of a coach. And you want your coach to be very well-rounded, right? Not only interested in what these guys do off the field, on the field, but also how they grow into men off the field. And a knee injury was what cut Brennan Marion's career short. He was on the path, right, to get to the NFL. I believe he did injure himself late in a college game. I think late in his career in college. He went in to the NFL as an undrafted free agent. He was signed by Miami, but I think he was just plagued by that injury, and he was never able to live up, right, to his NFL aspirations. So I thought that was very, very enlightened of him to take his experience and try to enlighten these young men so they don't have the same experience that he did. The other takeaway was his feelings on his quarterback room. Now, the subject of today's debate is going to be JuJu Lewis, but he touched on all three of these guys during his interview. Number one, of course, JuJu Lewis. Now, he said, hey, JuJu Lewis is QB1. I know there's still debate. And I'm on these shows, like I said, with Rob the Man, and I talked to Coach Dre. Coach Dre and Rob the Man always point out Coach Prime's philosophy, which is, hey, you're going to have to earn it, right? Nothing is given. But, man, when you hear Brennan Marion talk, it's absolutely clear who QB1 is in Boulder. And that's JuJu Lewis. And he says, number one, JuJu has a firm grasp of the offense, right? He's understanding what the go-go offense is all about. But he now wants to really get JuJu to the point where he makes the playbook come alive for himself, meaning these are just plays on a page. He wants JuJu now to take the music, right, that is written on the page and add the emotion. I don't know how many music fans are here, right? You could play a song, but it's not just about playing the song. It's about playing the emotion that you want the audience to feel by the way you play the song. And that's what he wants JuJu to become, right? The next evolution in his development is to take that playbook and play that playbook with emotion, to give the coach feedback based on what he's seeing. I think one of the things that he's going to benefit from in order to accelerate that process for him is the time that Shedeur Sanders recently spent in Boulder, giving his perspective on how he sees the game. And now, right, make the playbook your own, but now it's also taking it another step, so maybe 2 levels up, which is, yes, this is what the offense wants to do. I'm now taking ownership of the playbook and making it mine, but now I need to develop my mind of the other side of the ball. Here is what we're trying to do. Here's what the defense is going to try to do to counter that. How do I detect what the defense is trying to do to stop me on the field. So I thought that was an interesting insight. Something now I'm going to be watching for in these upcoming practices, right? So as I gain knowledge of where player development needs to happen of these players, when we're doing breakdowns on the channel, I'm going to come back to some of these comments and say, hey, look, this mistake right here is more of, hey, I know the play, I know what coach is trying to get me to do, and maybe I forced it here because I didn't quite understand what the other side of the ball was trying to do and stop me. So that's what this channel is about, going a little bit deeper. All right, so we're going to watch his evolution and his understanding of defensive coverages as well. So system knowledge, though, is the base, right? Understanding what we're trying to accomplish in the scheme. The next person he talked about is Isaac Wilson. Now, this is a guy who was jumping off the page right early in the spring. And he commented on that. He said, you guys saw Isaac Wilson early on in the spring, right? Well, that's because Isaac Wilson takes chances. He's looking for the big play. All right. So he has a lot of arm talent. He sees the play. He wants to make the play. But playing quarterback, you need discipline. So for Isaac, because he's always looking to make the big play, sometimes he turns the ball over. This was an issue for him in Utah. This is an issue you started to see emerge a little bit, and he was the only quarterback, I believe, who threw an interception in the spring game, is because sometimes he tries to force the ball in there. So the next thing for Isaac in his development is becoming more of that well-rounded QB and taking what the defense gives you versus trying to make something happen all the time, right? The race is not always to the swift. If you guys are feeling the content like my man Rob J 4449, Rob J, what's up? He says, everyone hit that like button. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You enjoying the content? Hit the like button. All right, and next, man, this is a guy I really like. I talked about him on my time with Coach Dre and Rob the Man, but it's Keneal Sweetwine. Now, I know everybody, he's already moved on, right, to Andre Adams, the 2027 prospect. I think he's a Sports Illustrated, Sports Center top 300 player in the country in 2027. Everybody's hyped about Andre Adams. Watch out for Keneal Sweetwine. All right. So he's a development project, even in the eyes of Coach Brennan Marion. He's talking about, hey, Keneal just needs to get in his mind that this is not high school, and this is not talking down to him. I'm talking about what he was trying to say from a perspective standpoint. This is college, right? Where with his size and his ability, he could shake off a defensive lineman in high school. Brennan Marion said in college, you're not shaking off defensive linemen. You might get away with it once or twice, but these guys are going to bring you down, right? So you need to figure out that this is not high school. You got to play with that speed. You're playing college ball now, but the things that bode well for him is that he's able to make plays with his legs as well as his arm. He's an instinctive scrambler, right? And he could turn busted plays into positive yardage, which you need to do as a quarterback. Sometimes a play is going to break down and you need to have that ability, but he's still learning the speed of the college game. So that was great to get a perspective from a coach, the offensive coordinator, on what is happening in the QB room. Anything I say there resonate with you guys? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What's resonating with you? Reckless Stay. What's up, my guy? Welcome back. I appreciate it. You see, we back on Saturday, man. You see, we're back on Saturday. Reckless Stay says Andre's tape is elite. Yep, that's why he is the heir apparent, right? The JuJu to Andre train, but watch out for Keneal. Because, okay, we talked about this I think it was last Tuesday on Rob the Man, right? You sometimes need that bridge quarterback, guys. You always don't want your freshmen coming in and thinking that they need to play or have to play or immediately in a backup role. One of the things that we talked about last week is about the failed experiment of trying to get a bridge for JuJu, right? That Caden Salter. I'm not trying to call him a failure. I'm saying the whole experiment, right? Coaching, player, everything in 2025 did not work out as intended. Keneal Sweetwine represents for me somebody who could be that bridge that gives Andre Adams the same kind of opportunity to really develop and learn behind somebody else. The adjustment from high school to college is a big jump Very few quarterbacks can do that in their freshman season. So I like this elite tape from Andre, but I think we're really building now in Colorado a program. You come in and you're gonna subscribe to a program. First, we got to get your body college ready. You can't microwave that. You got to get the body college ready. Then we got to get you understanding the offense. Then you got to make the offense your own, and then you have to learn defenses. Right? That's the progression I would love to see for this line of Colorado quarterbacks coming in. But point well taken, reckless stay. MJ Johnson Sr. ready for the season to start. Hey, man, I'm ready for the season to start, too. I'm not making any unnecessary content, guys. If you don't see me for a while, it's because there's just not a lot of football to talk about. So, MJ Johnson, I agree with you. Ready for the season to start. And it looks like Reckless Stay is agreeing with me. All right, so we're going to keep this train going in this Brennan Marion interview on the morning run. Another thing that stuck out to me is the origin story of the go-go offense, right? And he mentions like, hey, I didn't have this coaching trajectory that took me straight to the top. I had to get it out the mud. And he started off, I believe, at Waynesboro High School. Check me on all of these facts, man. I just did some quick research to get on here and have this conversation. But in Pennsylvania in 2014, and he had to learn how to do the most with not always the best talent. Right. And so his offensive scheme came out of necessity and not the luxury of having elite talent. So he built a system, the go-go system, that gives undersized, probably not the most talented team an option to win by using option concepts, right? A lot of different ways to move the ball. The name, the go-go, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with go-go music, came out of his time as the OC for Howard University in Washington, D.C. They have this go-go music scene, right? And it got named that either right before or shortly after Howard upsetting UNLV as a 45-point underdog. Again, the idea that you don't have to have the guys with the most talent on the field to be in a position to win. That was what happened at Howard in 2017. Now, a special wrinkle within the go-go is its run emphasis. So what Brennan Marion talked about is that he was an air raid guy. That's how he was so able to get, 28 yards per catch, 1,000-yard seasons, working under his mentor, Gus Malzahn, I believe, at Tulsa, right? This is his understanding of the game. Explosive offense that throws the ball around the yard. But he said what really reframed his thinking and what made running such an integral part of the go-go offense was that he's been blown out 2 times in his career. One of the blowouts that stuck with him the most was that he got beat by a team that was able to control the clock using the run effectively. And he said it was at that point that he went back to the foundations of football to study and master the run game. See, that's one of the most exciting things for me, MJ Johnson, senior, in this season. I want to see a Colorado doing this go-go thing with a real rushing attack. How many of y'all want to see a Colorado football team with a real rushing attack? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Zulus, welcome back, man. It's great to see you on a Saturday. I hope all is well. Let's go ahead and throw this one up here and let's talk about it a little bit. Georgia Tech podcasters don't even think Colorado will even compete and it's an automatic win for them. Hey, look, listen, man, they gotta do what they gotta do, right? They're up 1, right? So, if we were up 1 at Colorado, if we had beat them this year, we'd probably be just as confident, right? If not more. They have a 1-up, man. It's our responsibility to change that narrative now when we get down to Atlanta. Okay, it is not their responsibility to grant us any respect. Respect has to be earned. They came into our house on opening day and whooped us. What you think they gonna say? What you think they gonna say? Right? Now it's you got to get your respect back. You got to get your lick back, which is why I love this back-to-back schedule. Put them right back on the schedule. Now we got to go to Atlanta and change this narrative. So this is a great opportunity for this Colorado team and for this Colorado's coaching staff. Reckless Stay says, I can't wait to see them run the bell out of the ball. Well, I appreciate you keeping it PG, but I think I know what you meant there. Switch out the B for the H. I appreciate that. Yeah, I want to see this run game. I want to see this go-go do its go-go thing. All right. MJ Johnson says, what people don't realize that this is the best talent he's had in the go-go offense and had less talented players that still put up good numbers. I love that. I want 1,000-yard back. Okay, let's put this here. Guys, if we were to get 1,000-yard back this year, who do you think it would be? That's the survey. Who do you think it will be? And I'll continue my analysis and a breakdown of that interview, including other key takeaways. Okay? Now, here's what he talked about, MJ Johnson. So you got asked by, I think it was Big Dog Chico, about, well, if you have all this talent, how do you spread the ball around? Right? Great problem to have, a lot of talent. Potential issue when you got a lot of talent and can't get them the ball, right? You get a lot of unhappy guys. And he talked about this idea because this is most pronounced in the wide receiver room. I mean, it is absolutely loaded, right? Is there any question that Danny Scudero is wide receiver 1 at this point? I don't think there is. I think I was one of the first people to say it. You can go back and check the tape. I have a full Danny Scudero breakdown. When Danny Scudero first transferred, there was like some debate. Man, it's maybe JoJo before. This is before JoJo's, the extent of JoJo's injury was fully known. Oh, no, it's going to be DeAndre Moore. Listen, put all of that to rest. Put all of that to bed. Danny Scudero is Colorado's #1 wide receiver. So he's got to get his touches. But here comes JoJo Williams. He's got to get his touches. Here comes DeAndre Moore. He's got to get his touches. You could really say this is make or break season for Hakeem Williams without much hyperbole. He has to get his touches when he's back fully healthy. Q for 6. You got to reward loyalty. Could have been out of here in 2025. How do you reward that kind of loyalty? How do you reward the loyalty of Quanell Farrakhan? He's got to get his touches. He's earned them in spring ball. He's going to continue to earn them throughout the summer. Ernest Campbell comes over Sacramento State. You cannot keep sub 4.3 speed on the bench. How are you going to get all these guys the ball? And he said something very, very interesting. He says, wide receivers are typically thought about as divas, right? They're the ones who are going to have the obvious attitude when they're open and the quarterback misses them, right? You're going to see it immediately in their body language, especially if they're elite. And then it makes it worse if the team is not playing well and you're still not getting the ball to the guys who are supposed to have the ball. But what he told him is the advice that he got from his coaches. And he tells this story. I don't want to get too into it, but he was on a little league team. His mother didn't want him to play in inner city Pittsburgh because of all the craziness that was going on at the time in the early 90s. So she would take him out to the suburbs. And so on these suburb teams, the coach was straight up, which I respect, man. Straight up people told him, hey, look, man, they don't like it, quote unquote, the proverbial day, when we have too many of y'all on the team. So I got to spread the ball around, even though I know you guys are my playmakers. So you might get 4 or 5 touches a game. You got to do everything that you can with your 4 or 5 touches. So if you guys wanted to know how Brennan Marion intends to manage all of that talent in the wide receiver room, his verbatim quote was, you're going to get 4 or 5 touches a game unless somebody gets extremely hot. And he gave the example of the wide receiver that he had at Pittsburgh, Jordan Addison, who won the Biletnikoff. And then I think his name is Roddy White that he had at UNLV. Correct me if I'm wrong on that wide receiver from UNLV. But those guys got hot, over 1,000 yards, right? Receiving, just like he did in Tulsa. But basically, that is his advice in the wide receiver room. You guys are going to get touches. You might not get as many as you'd like, but you're going to get 4 to 5. It's up to you what you do with them. All right. So that is his philosophy on managing all of that talent in that wide receiver room. Hey, man, JR Boxing, real man, legend in here, man. Hold up. We got a real legend in the chat, y'all. Much respect, JR Boxing. All right, let's get to your comments real quick. JJ Mars 9160, welcome to the chat. 1,000-yard back might cut into CU's passing advantage. All right, I'm gonna get to that, man. I think Brennan Marion has a win at all costs mentality. Zulus 3406. And the lack of respect for JuJu is disrespectful for a former 5-star recruit. We're gonna get into that. That's the meat and potatoes of the debate, man. I'm setting this thing up, getting everybody in this room because we're gonna go at it here in a second when we get to this JuJu Lewis debate. Fall training camp will answer those questions, and I can't wait to see it unfold. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of competition. Those DBs better get ready. It's gonna be guys fighting for the ball. And they're going to be trying to make every single play. I mean, I love a guy like Quanell Farrakhan, right? The catch radius on that kid. Anywhere you throw it near him, he's going to come down with it, right? I want to see him continue to develop into his body and into his assertiveness. Man, he's going to be a problem on the outside. Reckless says he's rotating wideouts. Uh-oh, he's already shaking his head. I guess you do not agree with that philosophy. But here's the distinction he drew. He said, I used to be at a school that got all the elite talent. I'm guessing he didn't say this school's name, but he's probably talking about the Texas Longhorns. He said you would only have 2 guys on the field, both going to the NFL, and you would have another 3 NFL wide receivers sitting on the bench. And the 2 guys on the field would be completely gassed and exhausted. They wouldn't be running hard anymore. They wouldn't be blocking like they should anymore. But guess what? They never sat them down. Think about that now. I don't think he's just making this stuff up. I don't think he's just winging it. Okay? I don't think he has experience with seeing a wide receiver room with NFL talent sitting on the bench. I mean, that is Texas football. Sometimes they just play keep away with players. I don't want Alabama to get this guy, so I'm just going to get him and he's going to sit on my bench. Same thing with Alabama. Same thing with LSU. Same thing with Ole Miss. Whatever, right? These teams are so stacked. Maybe his decision to rotate wide receivers is informed by experience. All right? Man, listen, Reckless is like, hold on. That's why I come here, man. That boy got analysis, man. That boy got receipts. That's why we're one of the biggest shows right now in this Colorado ecosystem. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're about to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. That's absolutely outstanding. It's because of you guys, right? You love the comment. All right, let me get into the statistics though, Reckless. We're not going to stay there. We're not going to stay there. Okay, statistics. UNLV 2023, the offense put up 3,349 passing yards on 2,657. Who was that said it's going to eat into their passing advantage? Where you at? All right, JJ Mars, I got something for you, baby. Let's talk statistics. This is where balance comes into play, right? JuJu Lewis, 3,349 yards passing, paired with a rushing attack, 2,657 rushing yards, over almost 6,000 yards of total offense. That's real balance. That's not a run scheme that's real gimmicky or that you have to. Can you overcommit to the run game? Yeah, that you could abuse the run game just to say you have one. I would love to see that kind of balance in 2026. So JJ Mars, man, I appreciate the concern. UNLV 2023 might alleviate some of that, okay? It's not married to one identity. They could run it, they can throw it. They're going to do whatever they need to do on Saturdays to win. Are you guys loving the show? Let me know. Hit that like button. All right, ICH, welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. All three coaches are killers. I'm guessing Prime, Marion, Marv. Their mindset is to literally destroy Georgia Tech. I've got all my reservations locked in. Oh, you were in the A, huh? Peace up. A-Town down, man. Hey, stream from it, man. Give us your first person point of view. Stream from Atlanta for us. I don't know if I can make it down there. No matter the outcome, I can't wait, but I expect a big win. Oh, yeah, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts in Atlanta. MJ Johnson said, enjoying the show. Hey, man, that's why we do it. We do it for you. Share the show, share the show. Call a friend, let them know to tune in. Now, final segment before we get to this JuJu Lewis conversation. We're about 30 minutes into the show. Y'all hanging in there. We're going to talk about this 2027 recruiting class. Now, I know all the controversy about the guys who committed and left. I don't really care about that. I want to talk about the guys who committed and stayed, right? I think too much attention is paid to the negative in the world. Let's pay attention to the positive in the world. All right? Let's talk about the 2027 recruiting class. This is the updated board. As of today, Colorado has 17 commits in the 2027 class. They have one ESPN 300 member. Let's talk about this full list. Right now. At the very top, Andre Adams, quarterback out of Antioch, Tennessee, committed as of April 2026. So we got our quarterback of the future. Devon DeRico, cornerback out of Miami, Florida. I think this is a 3-star recruit, has been down with the Colorado Buffaloes since February of 2026. Then we got Kenny Farley out of Fairborn, Georgia, defensive tackle, right? We need that D-line to be beefed up. Love that get. Then over in Utah, we got another get, one of the top players in that state, Will Rasmussen at cornerback. Hey, not a 4-star, not a 5-star cornerback, right? Not a Cormani McClain, not a Travis Hunter, but kind of getting these cornerback depth, really elite guys in their state to choose Colorado. Safety, probably one of the most exciting pickups, Gabe Jenkins, safety out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, committed to this team in May. Barack Willis. So you see how I just went through one offensive player, 5 defensive players. Barack Willis, a very exciting outside linebacker out of Alabama, committed back in May. Back on the offensive side of the ball, LaMarcus Jones, a highly touted offensive tackle out of Brentwood, Tennessee, committed in May. Oh, Zulus, you got an update for me. You said it's 18. I'm naming them now. Give me somebody that I miss in the chat, please. Who's next? Oh, Jaden Kelly Murray. Now, I think this is guys who want to come and play with Andre Adams at this point. Jaden Kelly Murray is an absolute dog athlete out of Summerville, South Carolina. More than likely will play wide receiver for these Colorado Buffaloes, committed in May. We got another cornerback, Prince Washington, talented guy, I think a little bit under-recruited, out of Houston, Texas. So what do we have? 3 cornerbacks so far. Now, this guy I think committed. He's on my list, but I think he decommitted and went to Illinois, so I won't even talk about it. It's a running back. I'll let that one go. Samari Howard, this was another major get out of a safety out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I love how that safety room is coming together, guys. A Gabe Jenkins and paired with a Samari Howard. We're doing something. That was a June commitment. June commitment. Inside linebacker Javon Pulliam out of Birmingham, Alabama. June commitment as well. Man, this defense, Coach Marv is going crazy right now on this defense in this recruiting class. We got some real depth here. But hey, look, we always want to get better in the trenches, and Zaquan Linton, offensive tackle out of Wellington, Florida, is adding to that number. Love to see that June commit on the O-line. What is that? 2 offensive linemen. LaMarcus Jones, Zaquan Linton beefing up those offensive tackles. Now we move inside. Jayan Talib, another Talib connection, right? I think relative to the cornerback, right? Yamil Talib is also a relative of Akil Talib, former Denver Bronco great cornerback. It's a family affair, right? So now we're going to be joined by Jayan Talib, an offensive guard. So we're going on the interior, beefing up the interior offensive line. Interior offensive line. Then we got Drew Sapp. We're going down on the D-line again. Drew Sapp, defensive end out of Lakeland, Florida, another June commit. Cordero McDaniel, another offensive lineman, another tackle out of Brookhaven, Mississippi, committed in June. And then now they come to my home state. Finally, guys, what has this Colorado recruiting staff been doing? Why have you not been recruiting Ohio? But I love that they're coming out to Ohio and they're getting defensive dogs. That linebacker room is looking crazy right now. Elite linebacker room. Chris Marv is doing his thing. Jameer Daniel Portis, outside linebacker out of Springfield, Ohio. Outstanding tape on him. And probably one of the biggest recent gets in terms of guys who are being pursued by one of the top programs in the country. Ohio State was recruiting him heavy. Kaylon Bailey, inside linebacker out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, when you talk about wide receiver U, it's hard not to say it's Ohio State, right? I mean, come on. But I'm telling you, Ohio State is also linebacker U. And when you beat like Sonny Styles, for example, in the most recent draft, right? I mean, the measurables out insane. So you get a linebacker that Arvell Reese, measurables insane. You steal away an inside linebacker from Ohio State, you're getting a dog. Kaylon Bailey out of Cleveland, Ohio is a dog. Okay, so I love them recruiting my home state. And then last but not least, I saw this one come across yesterday, Ryan Ferdinand. I think Dukes the Scoop is naming him LaJohntay Wester 2.0. Shifty slot receiver out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Just committed. That is 3 new commits since yesterday. But you wouldn't know it for all the noise that's being made about the guys who decommitted. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all as fans, man. This is the new state of college football. Guys are going to commit. Guys are going to decommit. It is what it is. We got to give the guys who stayed their flowers. All right. Now for the show that you guys all came here for. Question. Let me go ahead and get it up here. Is JuJu Lewis an elite quarterback prospect? Ryan. Who's Ryan? Ryan Ferdinand is going to play outside. He's 6'1". I thought he's 5'10". Ken B88, welcome to the chat. You say flower. You deserves yours too, my brother. Oh, Appreciate that, man. Hey. Game recognized game. Game recognized game. Appreciate that, Kim B. All right, let's go ahead and show this on the screen, guys. This is the debate. This is the topic. This is what we're talking about. Is JuJu Lewis an elite quarterback prospect? Okay, let's talk about it. Go ahead and put your comments in the chat. Is this even something we should be talking about? Is it too early? What are your thoughts? I'm going to give you the facts, and then we can talk about it. All right, so I'm going to first make the case for JuJu Lewis being an elite quarterback prospect. Point number one. Welcome to Harvard Law, y'all. We're going to break this thing down. His high school resume is historically elite. His high school resume is historically elite. He is in rare company, y'all. Across 42 games at Carrollton High School, Lewis threw for 11,010 yards and 144 touchdowns. That ranks 7th all-time in Georgia passing yards and 5th all-time in passing touchdowns, and he did it in 3 seasons. Remember, he reclassified and left high school at 17 years old. He started doing this at 14. While every other quarterback on that list, remember, 7th in passing, 5th in passing touchdowns, every other quarterback, right? So 6 through 1 needed 4 years to get that ranking ahead of him. If he had stayed another year, maybe he's number 1 and number 1 in both categories, or definitely in the top 3. As a true freshman, he threw for 4,118 yards and 48 touchdowns. I'm going to say that again. As a 14-year-old in one of the top classifications of Georgia football, he threw for 4,118 yards and 48 touchdowns. What Sports Illustrated at the time called the most staggering freshman season in Georgia's robust high school football history. And this is where he did it. And he led the previously unranked. Okay, so this is not, he just kind of marched his way into this perennial playoff team. The previously unranked Carrollton team to an undefeated regular season and the state title game. I don't think they won the title. I think they got to the state title game. That's the pedigree we're talking about here, guys. I think a lot of people look at the kid, like, you know how you look at some people, you be like, yo, he's the UFC champion. He will put hands on you. Looks can be deceiving. I think JuJu Lewis falls into the looks can be deceiving category. Right or wrong? You look at him, you're like, the 7th all-time in the state of Georgia, the 6th all-time. Looking at him. But that's why you don't get into bar fights. If you've been knocked out before, say amen. Looks can be deceiving. Now, we're not just looking at volume, we're looking at efficiency. So let's talk about efficiency. As a sophomore, he completed 66% of his passes for 3,000 yards, 48 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. Which is why the last 3 games of the 2025 season. One of the other things that Brennan Marion commented on during his interview is he doesn't do things to make you lose the game, guys. He protects the football. He protects the football. Okay, that's as a sophomore. In his final season, he improved on his completion percentage. He took it up to 76% of his passes were completions. And he threw for 3,465 yards, 46 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. That's a 9-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio at that level of competition. That is elite. That is elite. So let's just stamp it right now. If you out there and you on somebody else's channel and they talking crazy, copy paste this link right here. Tell them to join us about the 30-minute mark. I'm going to tell them why. You ain't even got to say nothing. Say, did you watch Saturday's live of Common Sense Buffs? Go over there. He has everything. Then you come back and argue with me. Okay? Pedigree is validated. Youngest player ever to be featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated, 5-star recruit, and was ranked among the top prospects in the 2025 class. This is who we're talking about, guys. This is the starting quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes. Under Brennan Marion's tutelage in the go-go offense. Okay? But the sample size in college is small. Before we get to college, let's get to your comments. All right. Zulu says, coming out of high school, #1 prospect in his class. Rob J, I believe you're saying he is elite. Ken B saying, we have definitely seen some flashes. I know he's capable. I would say I need to see more, honestly. Okay, perfect segue into college sample size. JJ Mars is saying JuJu has not played much, too early to say. So I made the case on the front end for him being an elite prospect. I think this is where we get into the counter argument. And didn't play his senior year at all. Yeah, he reclassified and left. Reckless says, yes, sir. He's smart, tough. Don't pull the ball and put the ball in harm's way. Will stand in the pocket and deliver dots to move the sticks and don't take unnecessary sacks. Yeah, and he'll use his feet too. JuJu will run the ball. Okay, he's not just a stiff mannequin back there in the pocket either. He'll take off running. Zulu says, drop the mic. Rob J, mama, there go that man. They can sleep on Lil JuJu if they want. I think CU's offense is going to be exciting to watch and shock a lot of people. Yeah, it's going to be the greatest show on turf, guys. That's at least what my hope is. Reckless says he's going to shock the world. Zulu's JuJu is a killer. All right, last comment here. What I love is that Coach Marion hears the chatter about CU's team this year, and he's ready to show the world they like that. Oh, yeah. Perfect game is Georgia Tech, guys. Opening weekend of college football. High likelihood college game day or one of the big football shows is going to be down there for that game. It's Thursday night. It's in prime time. Prime is returning to Atlanta. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Must-see TV. It's must-see TV, and I'll be here for it. Probably going to live stream it. Y'all going to be in the chat watching it with me. Not the game, but commentary alongside the game. We'll watch the game together if you guys are so interested. All right, now let's talk about college now, which is what some of you in the chat, JJ Mars and others, are saying. The sample size is kind of small. I'm not willing to give him that elite label. Okay? First career start. You guys remember when that was? Late in the season. those games were really of no consequence. Starting born out of necessity. The Caden Salter experiment, not just putting it all on Caden, but coaching and offensive play calling and all of that. By that time in the season, I don't even think Shermer was calling plays, Coach Shermer, right? I think Bartolone was calling plays by the time Lewis was starting. I think it was like the third to last game. But here's what he came out and did. 22 for 30 of 35 for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. First start. How many of y'all want y'all's freshman quarterback, and it's a loss? He lost the game. Team lost the game. They lost the game. First start. I'm just giving you his numbers. 22 of 35. What's that? Let's do the math. Make sure my mama ain't sent me to school and I wasn't paying attention. Let's get the percentage right there. Let's get the completion rate. 62% completion rate. 22 of 35. 299 yards. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I like that. I'll take that. I'll take that. Okay. He became just the 9th true freshman to start as a quarterback in Colorado history, dating back to 1959. Starting freshmen is not a common thing in college football, certainly not at Colorado. Okay. So let's take all of the games, right? Because he had 2 more starts to end the season, all of them losses. I mean, it was bad down the home stretch, right? I think they brought Caden Salter back for one of those games. You correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just a 3-game stretch. Let's just look at the 3-game sample size, though, guys. If you take all of his statistics over 3 games, small sample size. But the question is, do you like what you see statistically and the eye test from those last 3 games, given all the commotion, quarterback carousel, etc., 2025, OC carousel, etc.? A lot of guys had quit. A lot of guys were already out the back door, right? And when you play on a team, you already know who's talking to their agent about transferring. Man, it was dark days at the end of the 2025 season. My number 1 wide receiver, Omarion Miller, gone. Draylon Miller, gone. Right? And the list goes on and on both sides of the football. It was dark times. But let's look at the sample size he gave us. 52 of 94, 52 completions on 94 passes, 589 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Freshman, quarterback, OC carousel, worst season of the Coach Prime era. Bunch of guys had already quit both on the field and off the field. Were getting ready to transfer. And this is what you put up as a freshman in a 3-game sample size. Do you like that or don't you like that? Over 3 games, 55% completion rate. You want to see it certainly much higher than that. 589 yards is modest. So 589 yards divided by 3 games, about 196 yards a game. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. What are we thinking there, guys? ICH says, I can't crown him yet, but he definitely has elite tendencies and a lot to look forward to. He has a whole off season. 3 games of starting experience and a whole off season, even though he's now in a new system with a quarterback coach that I really like. And I think that's going to be good for his development, and has a history of developing freshman quarterbacks, because technically this is still his freshman season with only 3 starts. Okay. Saved him a red shirt as well. The Mysticles, welcome to the chat, man. Great to see you. One of the day ones. Always locked in. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, you cannot say I'm not in the top 3 of Colorado content creators in terms of the pure value of the facts and presentation and style and breakdown that I'm doing right now, guys. This is elite. This is elite stuff I'm doing. I'm freestyling. Okay? So even with the small sample size, I'm telling you guys, JuJu suffers acutely from you look at him and he doesn't look the part. Therefore, it's like, bro, I don't know. But the history, the pedigree, and the small sample size, namely his ability to keep the ball out of harm's way and throw touchdowns, I'm giving him the elite quarterback prospect stamp, not only because what he has done in college, but because that is who he was recruited to be in Colorado. Remember, JuJu is supposed to be at USC. One of the most highly touted quarterback whisperers in the country wanted him as his quarterback, Lincoln Riley. You think Lincoln Riley is just recruiting any old quarterback to go to USC? My man Sean No Notes. What's up, man? Good to see you, brother. He says, oh, no. I got to post this because Sean No Notes came up there and, you know, he a Hurricane fan. Y'all leave him alone in the chat, all right? I'm just joking. Sean No Notes is my man. But he a Hurricane fan. And boy, Darren Mensah is the most elite quarterback in the country, ain't he? I'm going to be watching those Hurricane games, Sean No Notes. We're going to have to talk about Darren Mensah as the season progresses. But it's great to see you. I appreciate you with this comment, man. Thank you so much for watching me over at Rob the Man and then coming over here and joining the live show. Much appreciated. Oh, man, we got another day one. Northside Roger, welcome to the chat, man. We're talking about it. Let's put the question back up there. I appreciate y'all engaging with the content, guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Where's my question? Right here. Okay, right here. All right, so MJ Johnson says, yes, it's hard to see some of them guys leave, but the guys they brought in help get over that. Yeah, and it freed up a lot of cap space, a lot of money, man. Because one of the things a lot of those elite guys who left were commanding is because they were proven commodities. A guy like Jordan Seaton, what is he, the highest paid left tackle in all of college football? Yeah, he freed up a lot of cap space to go out and fill a lot of holes, for example, at wide receiver, right? With the other wide receivers that left to fill some holes on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we got Boo Carter. Rob the Man gonna love that I mentioned Boo Carter. We got Boo Carter, right? Man, let me pull up my depth chart. We can talk depth chart too right now going into the summer. We got Danny Scudero. We got a lot of great players. We got Gideon Lampron. So yeah, a lot of guys left, but we brought a lot of guys in as well. Where's my depth chart at? We'll pull this depth chart up. We'll talk depth chart, and then I'm going to dip and go enjoy my day, man. Go enjoy my day. Let's pull up this depth chart here. Because we've got some great players that we brought in now. Okay. Oh, and I got some, my depth chart is marked up too, so that's good. This is going to be good. Oh, okay, let's talk depth chart. All right. So in from what I gave you guys right now, I mean, some people are still saying, yes, I believe. Do you believe now? I believe. JuJu Lewis is an elite quarterback prospect. I gave you the case for JuJu Lewis. Some of you say, hey, I want to see more. I also want to see more. But I'm also saying that he does not have a choice but to be elite, right? He cannot be mediocre. Now, what Shano Notes and I kind of agreed to disagree on is, well, he's giving JuJu Lewis the full season to kind of figure it out. Figuring out does not equal to bad play and then no improvement week over week, right? I'm looking because this team, 2026 is a critical season for this team. It's a critical season for Coach Prime, a critical season for Brendan Marion, a critical season for Chris Marr. They don't only need to win, they need to win convincingly. This is a bounce back year. It's the 2023 to 2024, right? They got to go from 4 wins to like 9 wins. In order to do that, you cannot have mediocre quarterback play. Now, what Sean countered me and said, well, Brendan Marion says his offense does not need a elite quarterback to run it. What I'm saying is that does not let JuJu Lewis off the hook. Why? Because of his pedigree and what he was recruited to do. That's the point I'm trying to make as well. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. For anybody who knows this, but yeah, I know. I'm not going to deal with this on the show. Catch me on Rob the Man Media on Tuesdays. We'll deal with this part of it. But MJ Johnson, I know. We talk about that all the time. All right. Let's jump into this depth chart. I want to see how this depth chart compares to your depth chart. And we'll talk about it. Demistocles, come on, bro. All elite QBs are elite till they play bad. Last year, he was good in those limited games. Okay. All elite. Oh, you mean like I'm gonna flip and say he's not an elite quarterback if he has a bad game? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Expectations are expectations for a reason. Okay. You don't go out and trade for a player and pay them a big contract just for them to not play up to that potential is what I'm saying. I think Juju suffers from this, not you, Demistocles, but from people, outside watchers of JuJu Lewis. He suffers from low expectation because of the eye test is what I'm saying. I think people sleep on him just because he looks like he's still a kid. That's my personal opinion. If he looked like Bryce Underwood, I don't think a lot of people would be talking like this. Dang, that boy said Arch Manning. You know, Sean, I don't know if you trolling sometimes, man. Think you trolling me, man. Appreciate you, Sean. No notes. Appreciate you, Demistocles. Let's pull this thing up. Let's see if I know how to do this properly. Let's see if I remember how to do this properly. In the comments, let me know if you can see my screen. This is my post spring ball depth chart. MJ Johnson says, hold on, let me pull this up. What you talking? Nah, bro. Talk about it now. I want to hear your thoughts on it because it's on the OC's mind, or this is just about Juju right now. I understand all of what. What do you want me to talk about? I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not ducking any smoke. No elite quarterback has started out their first year being elite. Okay, I get it. Oh, Boo Carter on offense. Nah. I'm not gonna talk about it. You're gonna have to tune in on Tuesday. They bring that up every time. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, good. Can y'all see my screen? Please let me know. Now I'm messing with it a little bit. Yeah, and that's me. Okay. Now can I move me? Okay. MJ Johnson says I got you. All right. Let me do it this way. Nope. Let me do this. All right. And then let me take this off the screen. Okay. Good. Good. All right. So let's talk about the depth chart as I have it. This is 2026 depth chart post spring ball. Let's start at quarterback. Okay. Let's start at quarterback. JuJu Lewis, I have him starting, followed by Isaac Wilson, and then Keneal Sweetwine. That's my 3 deep. And then, DP2 RIP. Okay. Now at running back, in the go-go, you get a lot of 2 running back sets. 2 running back sets. I like a 2 running back set of Damian Henderson and Michael Welsh. Okay. Probably call that our heavy set. Now I could trade out Michael Welsh for DeKalen Taylor if I want to put some additional speed on the field. I think a lot of these guys are going to rotate, but post spring ball, I still feel like Richard Young has some work to do. I feel like Damian Henderson has really made it clear he did not come from Sac State to sit. Looking at these 4 guys really doing a lot of rotating, but if I want to give opposing defensive CTEs, these are the 2 guys I'm rolling out in that 2-back set. Adding DeKalen Taylor to mix it up for some speed. Love him in the option game, getting to the outside. Okay. We got a lot of depth at running back. It's great to see Cam Newton, a freshman, now on campus. It's also great to see some of these guys returning from IR. I think Jaquil Smith is kind of healing. He's moving up. I could probably move him up in the depth chart, but I think this is going to be what I see in the summer. Bryce Hicks is another player making plays. So this is how I do it. If you get a gold star, you're making plays. If you get a green, you're making moves. If you're on pink, you're IR. Yellow, you're on IR returning soon. Okay. So these guys in gold here, my gold stickers here in the running back room, Damian Henderson and Bryce Hicks. On the outside, my wide receiver 1, Danny Scudero, all day, every day. He's making plays. Because of injuries on the outside to Joseph Williams, Hakeem Williams, and returning soon Christian Ward, Alex Ward flipped over from the defensive side of the ball, and he got some reps on the outside as a wide receiver. On the opposite side of the ball, based on play in spring ball, I got Cam Perry on the outside. I know you guys might like Cam Perry on the inside, but again, we were suffering from a lot of injuries. I got Quanell here behind Cam Perry. Cam Perry gets the nod. Both he's making plays and he has the experience. He probably has the best hands of any wide receiver on the team. That's just my take. But Quanell is really giving this guy a run for the money. All these guys on the outside a run for their money. We expect DeAndre Moore back soon from injury. Taggart Barton is another guy who was making plays back in 2025 but got injured. Hopefully he's back fully. He can play the outside, and I love the freshman Jacob Swain now being on campus. On the inside, in the slot position, I have Quentin Gibson. Okay. Now, some of you might have Ernest Campbell. Okay. Because he was splitting time between football and track, I have him in the 3 slot here. Another guy I don't want you to sleep on, playmaker, great route runner, is Caleb Mathis. So this is my 3-4 deep, right, at slot. So if the injuries persist, we could see a very small wide receiver core run out there for Colorado. Is that ideal? No. We would love to have some size on the outside, but I just don't know about the injury reports to move this around any more than I have it. If you guys disagree or agree, let me know in the comments. What do you think about what I've covered so far? Let me go to your comments. Northside says, Jude don't have to be elite, just make the layups that he's given. Yeah, I think Marion is going to put him in a position to make plays. Oh, if you haven't hit that like button, haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that right now. Run, tell that. Willie, welcome to the chat, man. Hey, you a real day one, man. You get a thank you for coming back. MJ Johnson says, Coach Marion got to be rubbing his hands together like Birdman. What happened to that boy? Yeah, he has a lot of weapons on the outside, and I think that's exactly how he wants it. Now, some of you guys might say, hey, man, how he's going to get all these guys the ball. If you weren't here from my earlier analysis, a breakdown of his morning run interview, he said these guys are going to get their opportunity. He's going to want to see these guys make the most of it because you might not have all the touches that you typically get when you're on a team where you're like the clear head and shoulders above everybody else in your room. Domestically says skilled positions in wide receiver and running back room are down in distance and situational. Don't really have solid starters outside of Scudero and Perry. Okay. A lot of flexibility going on out there. Yep. A lot of flexibility. DeAndre Moore is back. Okay, that's great. I'll wait for the first practice where I see him. He might be running, right? I know they're running right now, but when they get those pads on and he's back and he's taking contact, I will definitely resort my depth chart. DeAndre Moore will be in that first group. Do you have him on the outside or in the slot? If he's in that first group, DeAndre Moore. What do you guys have DeAndre Moore, in the slot or on the outside? Would love to hear everybody's comments on that. Great route runner. If you guys want to, and a lot of this is not just based on what I think. This is me now going back and doing full film reviews on a lot of these guys. Anybody who has a full tape, like highlight tape out there, if you go to my channel, you can find tape on Danny Scudero, Joseph Williams, Cam Perry, DeAndre Moore, Micah Welch, DeKalen. I think I got something on DeKalen Taylor. Yeah, so I do full film reviews, and that's why. Oh, so you got DeAndre Moore to the outside. Okay. I have him to the outside here as well when he comes back. When he comes back. Sean No says slot. Cam Perry can stay to the outside. Cam Perry played the outside despite his size. DeAndre Moore played slot at Texas because they had so much talent on the outside. He's a great route runner, even though he's kind of a bigger guy. You don't see him as a really shifty slot wide receiver. That's probably what he's going to play at the next level, right? And I know a lot of these guys this is one and done, right? So putting some on the tape for the NFL scouts as well is going to be important to a lot of these guys. Another room that doesn't get a lot of conversation is how deep this tight end room is. Okay. Zach Atkins was going to be clear starting tight end. I think he went down. I don't know the severity of his injury right now from the spring game. So that's why he's in this spot here in pink or whatever, this fuchsia color. Fisher Clements, the transfer, is playing well. Corbin Lazier is a kid that I have my eye on. He's a sophomore making plays. Watch out for number 88 in this tight end room, along with Fisher Clements, holding it down until Zach Atkins comes back. We also have Charlie Williams, the highly touted recruit here, Zane D'Souza, big body guy, and Brady Kopetz. Brennan Marion loves to use tight ends. So it's great that we got, that high school coach that came over. Please let me know in the comments what his name is, coaching the tight ends. I think we're going to have a strong showing from our tight ends this season. It's great to have a safety blanket tight end, especially when you got guys on the outside that's going to have a lot of attention being paid to them. Zach Atkins, ran a 4.5. You get a Zach Atkins on a linebacker, you're going to have opportunities to make plays from, as a tight end. So love to see how they're going to overload some of these defenses, have them paying attention to too many people, and our tight ends having a field day out there based on the scheme that we're playing. MJ Johnson, he has DeAndre Moore playing the outside. Danny and Perry can play outside. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Domestically says DeAndre Moore is going to play outside. Okay, let's go to the trenches, which is where I think we picked up a lot of talent in this transfer class. I like Leon Bell. Coach Dre likes Bo Hughley. I think there's a battle here for that left tackle spot to replace Jordan Seaton. I like Leon Bell, though. He's been running with the ones. I mean, he has the experience as a starting tackle at Cal. I really like him. But Bo Hughley, highly recruited guy, transfer from Georgia. He had limited action at Georgia. He could be the left tackle. Coach Dre has Leon Bell on the opposite side, right? At right tackle, with Bo Hughley at left. We will see. I love the freshman Xavier Payne here. I want to see him continue to develop. That's my 3 deep at left tackle. Yeah, Coach Niblet. I appreciate that, Willie. Appreciate that. They are sending Zach Atkins. Yeah, to Big 12 Media Day. Man, he is developing. He is developing as a player in Colorado. Just hopefully that injury that he suffered was more of he just got banged up and not anything that requires surgery or a lot of treatment or recovery time. Inside, right? We're going inside now, right? We're going to be running the ball now in 2026. We're going to run the ball, right? That's what we said we're going to do. Well, I have Yaya Atia as my starting left guard, with Chauncey Gooden, the sophomore, really giving him a push in some competition here for that left guard spot. It's going to be experience over maybe ceiling. Experience over ceiling here, right? Maybe Chauncey Gooden has the higher ceiling. Yaya with more experience, more of a culture guy, really understanding what's at stake, in playing in this system. Under Coach Prime, right? Been there for all 3 years, etc. Philip Houston, former starting right tackle back in 2024, coming off of injury in 2025. I've seen him move more to the inside. I think that's probably where he's going to stay, given the size they have on the outside right now. And Hudson Stieber, that's my 4 deep here. Now, Coach Dre was making the point that if you really, right, because we're a little bit thin at center, not a little bit, we're really thin at center. Well, you could move a Yaya here and you could have a Chauncey up here, or you could move one of these other guys to left guard and just move some people around. So if they need depth, like really push comes to shove and we're dealing with some real injury issues, you can see Yaya here at center. But the best offensive lineman in my book is Demetrius Hunter, our center. You love the level of experience and you love the way he plays the game and the season he's coming off of at Houston, where they were able to have a great season running and passing the ball. So Demetrius Hunter is our anchor, my anchor on this offensive line. Now, Sean Kinney is a great backup here. I think he can really push Demetrius Hunter to be great. Also a solid center. I think he came from Liberty, if I'm not mistaken. So I really love this 2 deep here at center. Right guard Jose Soto came over with Coach Brennan Marion from Sac State. Already knows the offense, so that bodes well for him. But, man, I have this guy here in green, the Ohio State transfer, Javon McFadden. He is quickly moving up my board. Mark my words. I would not be surprised if Javon McFadden is a starter by like game 3 or 4 of the 2026 season. He has all the attributes, very competitive, and I love his mean streak, a very nasty player. And you want that in your offensive line. Now, right tackle, I have Taj White, the transfer out of Rutgers, as my starting right tackle, followed by Larry Johnson. I know Larry Johnson has been moving inside and outside. Now, some of you might say, hey, I think you're making a mistake here. Larry Johnson should be starting either at right guard or right tackle. I think there's a real competition here. I'm willing to be wrong. I think Larry Johnson is still developing, even though he was our right tackle. Taj White has more experience, particularly in the Big Ten. Now, do not sleep on Andre Roy, transfer from last year. Got a little bit of playing time, but his playing time was inconsistent. I don't think any 3 of these guys want to sit, so there should be a real battle here at the right tackle position. But that is what I have at Colorado around JuJu Lewis right now coming out of the spring. I think this is a great lineup, right? JuJu has a lot of weapons around him, and he has a solid offensive line to protect him. So everything is boding well for 2026. All right, guys, so we've been at this thing for about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up right here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another episode of the Saturday Debate. We talked about all of it. right? We talked about summer workouts. We talked about the Brennan Marion interview. And then, of course, we debated whether or not Julian JuJu Lewis is elite. And then we close it off on my depth chart for 2026. So we will be back, hopefully, next Saturday, but definitely on Tuesday. Catch me over at Rob the Man Media. It's going to be me, Rob, Coach Dre having another outstanding debate. If you don't mind, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned. We got more content coming. Until next time, peace.